Alright, what is up everybody? Today we're going to be taking a look at all the new buffed units with the Easter update. We have our clan members here to help us showcase, so thank you to my clan members Fabled, Liability, and Rick for letting me showcase their units here. Starting off with Onas, the main man of the last Void Quality of Life update. So we got quite a few units that got buffed with this update. This is kind of like the main thing of this update, I guess, because the event is kind of boring. But Onos here, I believe all they changed about this guy was his final upgrade damage, and then his ability, and he has now the pressure status effect. So right here, we can see his pressure. If we were to max him out, let's keep going here. By the way, this is Glitch Glorious. You can tell his placement cost was the same, I believe, by multiplying his placement cell value by 2. And then this is probably everything in the video will probably have crit and range max skill tree. Max him out here, so he should have, yep, there we go, rework damage doing 1.09 billion every 10.4 seconds. Okay, we have a unit hitting for a billion. That's kind of crazy. 7-step destruction. Whoa. Okay. So I believe what they did is instead of being like use it 7 times and it'll ramp up like crazy, 1, they reduced the cooldown, which is great. And then 2, they made it so every repeating use of the ability is actually going to ramp up like consecutively, which is cool. Better than it being like 7 uses for main value. You get more and more value the more times you use it. Pretty nice actually. Next up we have the Immortal King. This guy's going to be mine. Crit and range skill tree, glitch and magical enchant, and then max level of course. So on placement doing 3.3 mil every 3.04 seconds. For this guy's rework, all they did was going to be buffing his ability to now require wave 20 instead of wave 50. And then passive 2 buffed, enemies are now instantly marked with ramen after 20 seconds instead of 50. So that would be right here. After enemy has been in range for 20 seconds, inflict ramen on that enemy permanently. Apparently that used to be 50 seconds, I'm not sure why that'd be so long, but that got buffed, thankfully. And if we max him out here, she is final ability thing. Should have been reworked, it is erase existence, here we go. Can only be used after wave 20, yep. So, wave 50, now got buffed to be wave 20. Everything else about him looks to be the same. Pretty cool actually. I like that they made him usable in shorter wave content. Moving on from Immortal King. Okay, first godly we have buffed here. We have Pride. Apparently they buffed the range for his final 5 upgrades, so we have one right here. If we just max him out, I guess we can check it out. But final upgrade damage was also increased, so right now he's doing 240 mil. I'm not sure what he was doing like around this upgrade before the buff, but 368 on final upgrade. He does have Sunburn. His ability did also get buffed apparently, so he is going to apply Blaze and Flame, and gives a 100% damage buff and 75% dot buff. After stun on the ability now lasts for 30 seconds. The cooldown is now 600 seconds, so it might have been buffed with the cooldown and the stun, I'm not sure. And then I think he got one more buff with his passive here, Sin of Pride. Pride pities the other fire units in his range, increasing their dot damage by 25%, damage by 20%, and range by 20%. I think the dot damage might have been a buff, I'm not exactly sure. They didn't really like completely clarify what they changed exactly with these people, but I don't know, I'll take it. Pride got buffed, cool. By the way, with the ability active, 737 mil, so pretty cool. Some of these are going to be pretty quick, like Aisen here. All they changed was his final upgrade, so here's the final upgrade damage with Glitch Glorious, crit and range skill tree. Yeah, a lot of these are just like, final upgrade, got a couple things changed, not much to talk about. But apparently his Hado 90 ability also now makes enemies take 20% more stackable damage per ability instead of 2%. So you only need to use it 5 times instead of like a bunch, which is cool. Other than that, really good damage and pretty much the same unit. I don't know. Same thing for Unahono. Very short showcase for her because all they did was change her final upgrade damage and 274 mil every 9.5 seconds-ish. That was with Glitch and Omnipotent and max crit and range skill tree. And then Sanji here, another really short one because all they did was buff his final upgrade damage. If you want to max him out, go ahead. So yeah, everything the same on placement, I think. And he still does have cripple and then into blue flame eventually. But final upgrade, he's doing 300 mil every 4.96 seconds, which honestly isn't that bad. But I do wish they were like a little bit more creative with these because I remember in the past they were saying like they don't want to do any more of these buffs or just to final upgrades or whatever because they're really boring and don't really make a unit too viable. I don't know, whatever. There's Sanji and Unahono. Once again for Saber, main thing they did, increase her final upgrade damage. I really don't know why they're doing all that so much, but here we go, Saber. They also buffed her nuke, apparently. So Corrupted Excalibur, if I remember, you should be doing like 250 billion at the final orb count. I was doing 600 bill, so doing a lot more, I think. That's pretty noticeable. But again, not much to talk about because they're just buffing the final upgrades. You're not gonna believe it, but the one thing they buffed about Dio is just his final upgrade and then a couple of his passives. I don't know why they're doing this, man. Rebalance their DPS on all upgrades, please, because it doesn't make them viable to have to wait to final upgrade to get a buff. But 545 mil every 9.65 seconds, that is with Glitch Glorious here, and I'm assuming max crit range skill tree level 85. They buffed his passive apparently, every 10 attacks. Is that the one that got buffed? Hold on. Yeah, okay, decreases units SPA by 15%. So I don't know what it used to be before, maybe it was 10, now it is 15 and lasts for 40 seconds, okay. I think it used to last for 60 maybe, I'm not sure. They really didn't clarify much. Okay, Heavenly Vampire, they also reduced the SPA by 5 to 25%, so it used to be a max of 10% I believe, which is actually pretty substantial, up to 25% SPA reduction, very good. I don't know why they're doing this final upgrade thing, man. Moving on. Okay, moving on to Sunwoo Shadow King. This guy, you'll never believe it, what they buffed. His final upgrade, but apparently he'll receive more love later, according to the balancer, but 226 or 7.82 seconds with 104 range, 45% crit. Glitch Glorious crit and range skill tree. Another buff, Idol. They buffed her range and made her ability buff more. Yeah, I guess Idol's better now. Alright, now we have Shorou. Thank you to my clanmate Doggo for letting me showcase this guy. All triple S, avatar, no enchant, crit range skill tree, level 85, 252 over 6.64 seconds, 45 crit chance, 103 range. And this is the universal form before he actually uses his ability here. So tracing, we have 3 modes that he has. If you want to check out Knife first, I guess. Pretty much all they did was buff the final damage, you won't believe it. They buffed the final damage for all his different forms, and then changed one thing about one of his forms. But we do get a change on his passive here. Knife mode. So Knife mode has the one change other than a final damage buff of, instead of attacking the same enemy 20 times, it is now 10. Which makes him better, but it's still really boring that all they really did was change his final upgrade damage to 4 to 3.8 every 1.8 seconds. Okay, the next form of Shorou, we have the sword form. Same ability, and you probably guessed it by now. All they did was buff the final upgrade damage, 185 mil over 6.03 seconds. Cool, now we go check out the other form, where they did the same exact thing of just buffing the final upgrade. I don't know, this is a very boring buffing video, I'm sorry, but these are the buffs that they added, which is really lame. Final form, we have the Berserk form doing 472 mil every 9.05 seconds. That is the only buff they gave him, is increasing his final upgrade damage. Otherwise, same unit as before. Berserk mode, stats here, and Row Is ability. Very, very cool. Alright, the final 2 units we have to talk about that got buffed. Blue Lock people. And you'll never believe what they buffed. Their final upgrade damage. We have a Glitch Glorious Isagi with current range skill tree doing 321 mil every 4.56 seconds, 69.8 range, 45% crit. Same passive and everything. All they did was apparently buff his final upgrade damage. And then Kaisor, same thing. All they did was buff his final upgrade damage. Same stuff, crit and range skill tree, avatar glorious though. It's really mid. This is really mid. Why would they just buff the final upgrades? I don't understand. But those are all the buffs this time with the Easter update. Sorry if you can tell, I'm kind of tired and also annoyed because this update is pretty boring and, in my opinion, pretty garbage. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you in the next one, and have a great day.